It's a Thursday night. It's 6 p.m. Super League Round 3 is just 2 hours away. It's time for the Captain's Run on tonight's show. It's 2025 visited Oslo as the Bulls face the unbeaten Toulouse Olympic. Can Toulouse make it 5 from 5 against the Bulls? Las Vegas is about to set the souls of the Robins and Rhinos on fire with anticipation and excitement, but this is about points, not neon lights. In France, Louis Dodd lines up the first time against a team in which he won the lot. Will it be a nightmare in Perpignan for Saints as Doddy is coming to get you? At the HJ, we have two of the most exciting and dynamic nines going toe-to-toe. It's Danny Walker versus Tyson Smoothie, Part 1. At the MKM, Hull FC have had their wings clipped with injuries and come face-to-face with their county neighbours York Knights. Suddenly this one is not as easy to call. Castleford Tigers and Huddersfield Giants both sit bottom of Super League in an early season game that perhaps has more at stake than any Super League supporter could have expected this season. A must-win game. And tonight, kicking off round 3, is the game that no longer needs any more hype than the 4 words, Battle of the Borough. This promises to be yet another all-or-nothing game at the Brick Community Stadium. In-depth analysis, passionate debate and round 3 predictions. The Captain's Run is now. Yes, the Captain's Run is indeed now, and with me, as always, for the Captain's Run, you know I like to be on that side, is Steph. Steph, good afternoon to you. Round 3 just hours away.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Some really interesting matchups, and I'm sure everyone's as excited as I am. And then we've got Vegas as well on top.
Yeah, it's going to be a massive, massive weekend. And not just Vegas and not just the Battle of the Bubble, which we'll, of course, get to. But there's also some wonderful narrative around some of the other games, as was just detailed in the trailer to tonight's show. Stick with us, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be unpacking every single game. This is your number 1 preview show. You know that. And we're going to go through every single one. Starting with Sunday's game. We're going to go in reverse order. And, of course, as it said at the start, 2025 revisited as the Bradford Bulls welcome Toulouse Olympic. Toulouse on a 4-game winning streak against the Bradford Bulls, and of course are 2 from 2 in Super League, which is quite unprecedented at this moment in time. Steph, I mean, what a start for Sylvain Hules and the Toulouse Olympic.
Yeah, it's been phenomenal. Considering they the 3 teams that promoted were probably the most underwhelming in terms of the signings they brought in. A lot of players people had never heard of in that Toulouse team. They've done phenomenally well, and I think this is the perfect game for Toulouse. You know, they've had 2 tough fixtures, come out on the good side of them, and then obviously going against one of the newly promoted sides now as well. So they've got a great chance in this game, but Bradford will have other ideas.
They will, absolutely. And, of course, Bradford off the back of what can only be described as a remarkable win last week against Catalans that really got them in the groove. I mean, look, let's just try and state a little bit on how good at this moment in time Toulouse are playing. I mean, here's some stats for you, Steph, that might even take you a little bit by surprise, but it does highlight perfectly well how well Toulouse are winning. They scored 8 tries, which of course is 3rd best in Super League, which is fantastic. Missed tackles, they are 11th. And when I say 11, that's down the pecking order. That is, you know, very, very good indeed. They sit 4th overall in terms of missed tackle. Outstanding. Tackle bust, 4th in the league, 76. Clean breaks, 1st in the league with 15. Which, of course, transpires into the 3rd highest meter-making team in Super League currently with 2,624. I mean, that is absolutely remarkable from a promoted team and shows the strike that they've got and the defensive discipline.
Yeah, and you know, they were playing Castleford last week at home, you know, one that they were probably earmarked for themselves as one to win. But let's not forget, they went up against Wakefield in round 1. And, you know, some of those stats you've got to put down to Ollie Bott, you know, Ashley Bott, what's it called?
Ollie Ashel Bott.
He's been phenomenal for them in their opening 2 rounds. But yeah, to have those kind of stats is a great start. Probably better than they could have even expected.
And of course, this week on Super League Raw Weekly, we had Ruben Rennie in our team of the week. We had Lambert Belmas in our team of the week. You know, and we also highlighted how well Ollie Ashel Bott has been playing consistently over the first 2 rounds. this is for me. This is a really tough ask, and I was at unfortunately we haven't got the footage because there was a video issue with the Bradford press conference yesterday. However, I do have it on good authority that they are hoping for another bumper crowd, circa 10,000, and if they can achieve that, with back-to-back games against the French teams, that bodes well, doesn't it, for making Odsal the fortress that it used to be.
Oh, massive. It's fantastic. It's great for Super League. It benefits everyone in terms of the TV deal that's going to be negotiated. But yeah, from a Bradford perspective, to be getting near on 10,000 home fans, because let's not forget there's no away fans coming for that, or very few, is phenomenal. And could we get back to the 20 plus crowds when they play Leeds and teams like that? It's great to see. It's great to see, and it's great to see the improvements they've made at that stadium. I know people say, it's like putting sprinkles on dog poo a little bit, isn't it, with Odsal? But
Glittering it somewhat.
yeah, but it did look a lot better on TV, and it's obviously helped having that great home performance. That will bring people back in. And it was great to see so many young faces in that crowd as well. There's a lot of, parents who probably been a bit disillusioned with Bradford, who used to go all the time, who are now going to take their kids down, and hopefully they can fall in love with it. And we see big bumper crowds at Bradford every home game.
Absolutely, couldn't agree with you more. But like I say, Toulouse Olympic, at this moment in time, it's incredible, Steph. Incredible to think that at the end of round 3 in Super League, Toulouse Olympic could be 6 points from a 6. That's just unbelievable. Nobody would have foreseen that at the start of the season.
No, definitely not. And it's an amazing start. From just to get 2 from 2 is an amazing start. And yes, people will point to it's only round 2, it's only round 3. But how many of those people had to lose on any points after round 2 or round 3? So that counteracts that argument straight away. Because I bet the majority of those people who do say that would have been saying they'd be on 0 points. So yeah, no, it's brilliant. It's what we wanted to see. Long may it continue. It may well turn out that those 3 promoted sides end up at the bottom of the table. But from a start, and what's going to get people talking and exciting is that it's not started like that. They've started phenomenally well, and long may that continue.
Before we ask you for your prediction on this one, and in fact, before we move on, I do think as well we've got to pay tribute to the spine of Bradford. I thought the way in which Andy Ackers, Joe Mellor was outstanding, Ron Milnes as well, Clive Atkins, etc. All of those players in that game against Catalan, the spine is something that must be pleasing Kurt Haggerty at this moment in time.
Yeah, massively. And let's not forget, they've got Jaden Nikarima to come back into that as well, who's a phenomenal player. So, yeah, their spine has been brilliant. And the main reason why they have been competitive, very unlucky, a lot of people would say, against Hull FC, that, that could have gone the other way. Excuse me, put my phone on silent. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. They've been great and well worthy of those 2 points against Catalan, and they'll be looking for a repeat of that in round 3 against French opposition again.
Well, I'm going to push you for your prediction for this one. Before I do, they will miss. I think Jaden Knockenbour's out for this one. He's injured, which will disappoint him because he scored tries in the last 3 meetings against Toulouse as Jaden. So they'll be disappointed to lose him. And conversely, Holly Ashell-Bott scored tries in the last 3 meetings with Bradford. So he is expected to play. Toulouse are going for 5 consecutive wins over the Bulls, and in three of them, the margin has been less than 4. One was 4, which was a 24-20 last year in the semi-final. In round 24, the championship, it was 12-10. A big win for Toulouse in round 3. And in the prior year to that, it was only a 1 point. The game before that actually was 12-all. So, I mean, these two tend to have pretty close games. What's your thoughts? Give us a prediction.
I think this is going to be a really good contest again. I think the weather may come into it. It's not been the best weather over in Blighty, has it, this past week? So it'll be how that pitch Odsal stands up to that. I think that could be a factor. For me, I think both teams, like we've indicated already, have made a phenomenal start and been very competitive. but I've been more impressed with Toulouse. So I'm going to go for a close-ish Toulouse win. I'm going Toulouse 9-17.
Yeah. Obviously, don't forget, for those who are playing along with Super League Raw in the Prediction League, get your predictions in. Make sure that they're in before kickoff tonight. I'm going with you. I'm going to lose by 10. I've been very, very impressed with Toulouse this season. And I'm going to go 10. I'm going to go 10. Just see how that one pans out. Right, let's just quickly dip into the Fantasy League and bring everybody up to speed with how that is going. Here we go. And at the bottom of the screen there, you can see the prizes going through. So those members that are playing along in this, Club Wembley ticket is the first prize for next season. A replica jersey also is second prize. And I think it's a bobble hat, beanie or baseball cap is third prize. And all hail Caesar, Catherine Deering. She leads after 2 rounds on the leaderboard. House of Noise, Tony Pennington is second. Brothers in Arms, Stuart Skate, he was in the top 3 last year. He's there again in third. Bring back the Biff, says Matt Simpson. He's in fourth. And Murfield Rhinos, Matt Birch is in fifth. Many, many congratulations to you guys. If you want to play along with Super League Raw and you're already a part of the official fantasy game, then get yourself into our league as well. Super League Raw 26 is the name. Pin number is 12378 and password is capital S, small L, capital R, hashtag 2026. Come and join the fun. And of course, if you're members, you are playing for those prizes. Right, let's move on to Saturday night, midnight. It's the big one. Forget the lights. This is ultimately, Steph, about 2 points. That is what this is all about. Let's not forget the quadruple winners are yet to get off the mark off the back of that defeat to York City, York Knights as they are now in the opening round. As for the Rhinos, a confidence-building win for them last week against the same opposition, which is quite interesting. I mean, this is going to be absolutely huge. I, for one, cannot wait for this one. I know you can as well. I mean, look, it's very early in the season. I think statistics go out the window on this. What we do know about this is 2 quality sides that are going to be going toe-to-toe on one of the biggest stages of all. I, for one, cannot wait for midnight on Saturday.
Yeah, no, it's I'm getting really severe fear of missing out at the moment with all the Vegas pitches, none more so than in our own Super League Raw members group. But no, it's what an event, what a phenomenal event, and just to see the build up that they're doing over there, I think that's really, really good. I think there's rumours 12,000 fans from the UK have gone out, which is incredible. It does seem to be getting more and more popular, and two very well supported sides, obviously going out there this year as well, as there was last year with Warrington and Wigan. But just seeing the stuff on the billboards, on the Sphere, it's great that Vegas is really getting behind it as well. And I just hope there's a bumper crowd in for this one, and more so with the American audience. We know there's going to be obviously quite a lot of Australians there, as well as the English, but let's hope the ticket sales are good with the American crowd, because once they start watching it, they'll not stop.
I think the interesting thing for me is the win that KR got against Brisbane, which of course Wigan didn't get the year before. The World Club champions were not going to Vegas. They are in this one. KR are the World Club champions and played a phenomenal game of rugby league against Brisbane. I thought the crowd was pretty poor for the opening game, Warrington Wigan last year on the TV. Do you think that this is the World Club champions that are going to be opening up the Vegas event will get more Australians into the ground out of curiosity?
It definitely could have an impact. I think when there's top draw rugby league on offer, I mean, it's dead easy for us to say, because we would go watch every single game and be there all day, and I just don't get why you go to all that way to Vegas just to watch your own game when there's other NRL games and a brilliant Super League game on, and one that I think's 2 teams that can both beat each other as well, on their day. It wouldn't be a surprise if either of these teams won, which makes it even more intriguing as a game. Throw into that the quadruple winners, World Club Challenge recent win. There's plenty on offer there, isn't there, for the neutral?
There is. I mean, what's interesting is that as yet, at the point of recording this, no KR team squad has been announced, which is unbelievable. But the Leeds one has. I mean, look, I think everybody will be surprised to see Dean Hadley on the field of play come come Saturday night with that cheekbone injury. I think he'll probably miss out. Apart from that, and of course, big blow, Arthur Morg, another casualty early on in the season. So he's going to have to shuffle the pack, but opportunity knocks. Jack Broadbent potentially back for KR in this one, do you think?
100%. Yeah, I think they've got to. Jack's one of those that he's walking into any other Super League side at the moment for me, pretty much. Maybe you could argue Wigan, it would be similar to KR. But I think Jack's that good of a player. And he's already proven, hasn't he? Even with games where he's had to come in at short notice before, he's always turned up. He's always put the effort in. And I think that's why he's so well respected by Willie Peters. But yeah, it's the obvious solution. Don't break what's not broken. Don't fix what's not broken. Good grief!
Happy days. Look, I mean, well, for me, what's going to be fascinating in this game? I think middle unit. We know that both teams. Well, certainly with Dean Hadley more than likely going to be missing for this. We know Mikel Ajalecki still isn't going to be playing for the Rhinos. We know that. I think the edges are. I think the wingers, talk about contrasting styles. I'm not saying that Davies and Burgess can't rough it up with the best of them, but you've got Ryan Hall and Mikasivo who are very, very tough, bruising units who can knock two players off from 5 meters out and in you go. I think Tom's got a bit of that in his game as well. Maybe not so much Budgie, but I do think that what they lack in bulk, they probably gain in speed. And I think that those two edges, what wins? If the Rhinos can get into good field position, there's no doubt that from 5 meters out, Hall and Sivo are more than capable of busting through and getting scores. If, however, Rhinos aren't in that position, what we know is that it's unlikely, and I might get egg on my face with this, albeit the two centres, Ash Handley back, which we'll come to in a minute. I just think that from deep, KR may be on the edge a little bit more threatening in terms of speed.
Yeah, it's a bit chalk and cheese, isn't it? The yin and yang against each other, which will again make it really interesting to see how they go. The other factor is obviously age as well. Sivo and Hall have got quite a couple of years, I think, on Budgie and Davis. So will fitness come into it at the end? That could be a factor. But you're absolutely right. Sivo and Hall have definitely got the power. And be used as strikes close to the line. But Ryan Hall's lost a little pace, but he's still got a bit in him, and so has Sivo. The first game he played in when he came over, he scored. Well, I don't know if he scored it or not, but he pretty much the full length, didn't he? So yeah, it's there's interesting battles all over the park in this game, and like I say, both sides on the day can beat each other. They've got that good a squad. And I think the big boost for Leeds is obviously getting those players back that were missing. Against Leigh that came back in against York last week. To get Connor back, obviously the reigning Man of Steel is huge for them. Should enable Brodie Croft to have a bit more space as well.
Yeah, it should do, and I think it's a good point. I mean, look, Ash Handley could be back for his first game of the season. That's massive. That's huge for the Leeds Rhinos in this. But what they're also looking better in those forward positions. Yes, Noah Ledsky, but I've been very impressed with Cooper Jenkins. I mean, the fact that the emotion of a World Club Championship that KR have had to ride this week and then getting straight on a plane with Vegas, the fatigue of travel, which of course is there. We've already seen the pictures. They're being put through the paces like Warrington and Wigan were last year in terms of media commitments, etc. Do you think that gives Leeds an advantage going into this in terms of perhaps, I can't believe I'm saying this, because of all of those factors, Leeds slightly favourite? It's a big call. It's a big call.
Yeah, it is a big call. I think it's been a huge week, hasn't it, for KR, and a lot of emotions, a lot of celebrating. So you could argue that Leeds have got a slight advantage in that respect. We all we all see it with the Challenge Cup, the hangover from that normally. What players? Sorry, good grief, I'm having a nightmare with words today. What teams have a problem with after they've won a Challenge Cup is we see it all the time, don't we? So it's how KR use it for me, and it's all about this is where good coaches come into their own and getting these players back up for it again. But I don't think they're going to need any motivation. They're playing in one of the best stadiums in the world. The Death Star over there in Vegas. So I think they're going to want to put on a show, and I think this is going to be an absolute cracker of a game.
It is. It's going to be unbelievable. Like I say, it's a decent-looking roster there for the Leeds Rhinos on the screen. For the purpose of the podcast, Miller, Sevo, Newman, Hadley, Hall, Croft, Connor, O'Connor, Holroyd, Watkins, McDonald, Palacia, who was exceptional off the bench last week, Hankinson, Jenkins, O'Neill, Smith, Matautia, Levi, Littlewood, Nicholson, Watton, and George Brown. I just think, like I say, I think that fatigue factor, that emotion, it could just play into the Rhinos' hands. But hey, what do I know? what do I know? It's fascinating fair. It really, really is. I'm going to have to push you for a winner here, Steph. Go on, mate. Go on. Who are you going with?
I'm going with KR. I think that the confidence is that high at the moment. I just can't see Leeds having enough to beat them in this game. I may be wrong. Like I said on the day, Leeds are well capable. But I'm going KR by a couple of scores. I think 9-17.
9-17. You're going the way of KR. I'm going to surprise you. I'm going to go Leeds 8. And all because I just think when you put everything together, and let's not forget the effort that KR put into that game against Brisbane. So it's the effort of the game itself, then the emotion of being quadruple winners. I'm sure they had a beer, and rightly so. They celebrated that before getting on the plane. The travel, the media commitments, the heat. With the greatest respect to Leeds, they had a really decent run out there against York at the weekend. And I think that for me just tips it by 8 to Leeds. But hey, who would bet against the quadruple winners? This idiot. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's by the by. That's by the by. But yeah, there you go. I've got to call it. So Rhinos fans who watch us every week, there you go. And we will be doing a diary for Vegas as well. Thank you to the members who have sent stuff over. That'll be coming in the next 24 hours, where we will basically condense that and put out some really good footage that the members and the fan experience from their perspective over there in Vegas. We're going to capture that for you. Keep your eyes on all of our social medias and on YouTube for that one. Brilliant stuff. Right, let's now go to this. I mean, I thought the graphic with Freddie Krueger was an absolute piece of genius, I have to say. But there you go. Dodd returns. I mean, look, Lewis Dodd will have penciled this one in. He left St Helens for brighter things in terms of South Sydney. It didn't work out for him. And now he's back and a 2-year contract at the Catalans Dragons, and he's going to go up against the team he did it all with. This is a massive game for Lewis. He's going to be right up for this one, I'm sure. This is a great game in terms of a build-up to that World Club Challenge.
Yeah, it is, and obviously Saints coming in off that great win against Leigh when they faced lots of adversity as well, but still managed to get the 2 points in that one. So they'll be full of confidence. Obviously, lost a couple of players in that game in Nene McDonald and Johnny Lomax. Could we see George Whitby come in for Saints? Is this the opportunity for him to put him there and give him his shot? Obviously, with Wellesby being out, I do expect, and McDonald now, Tristan Saylor has to go to fullback in this one for me. And I can very much see Jackson Hastings being partnered by George Whitby, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing for Saints. It could be, it's sometimes things happen and it ends up working out, doesn't it? So yeah, that would be my bet on Saints. Catalan obviously will be smarting from that performance at Bradford. I thought they were awful in some points in that game, and that's no slight against Bradford. Bradford were exceptional. But by their standards they set against Huddersfield, I think Catalan will be extremely disappointed with that, what they served up there. But they're back at home this week, and I'm expecting them to put in a really good performance against what will be a really tough Saints side.
Yeah, I mean, the big problems, I think, for Catalan, and it showed in that game against Bradford. 2 stalwarts of the Catalan side, again, not in. Well, say one of them's back, one of them's not. Busquets was missed, and of course, no Ben Garcia. Garcia back in the squad for this one. I mean, down the middle, it's going to be interesting. It always is when these two go toe to toe. Just want to come back to your point reference, George Whitby, of course, with regards to that. He is there, number 17 in the Saints squad. A lot of people saying, I mean, Harry Robertson was brilliant at fullback when he came in against Leigh. And many expected would expect Tristan Saylor. Of course, Saylor started there, didn't he? And had to move because of the Johnny Lomax injury. And the fact that Saylor started there would suggest that Paul is probably going to put Saylor there instead. I mean, this is a massive starting lineup for Saints where George is concerned, George Whitby, because, whilst many people say he's got too similar a game to Jackson Hastings in terms of kicking, I think George has got some real good creativity in his game. People are saying Harry Robertson into the halves. If that was the case, I'm really concerned for George Whitby.
Yeah, absolutely. At some point, you've got to go. If he's fit, which I'm assuming he is, he looked fit when we met him the other day. You've got to give the lad his chance, and play him. This when you've got people out in that position, you can't put Wellesby there, you can't put Johnny Lomax there. Nene McDonald's out, so you've got to play Robertson in the centre for me, or bring Percival back in. But he's not even named Percival in the team, has he?
He's named Nene. They're saying Nene's 50-50, so that'll be interesting to see if Nene is back. If not, I would probably expect Matt Whitley to deputise in the centres.
Yeah, that could be an option for them.
Oh no, it could be Dion, couldn't it? Could be Dion. Might put Dion in there.
They'll start Dion Crossing on one centre, I think, and then Robertson on the other one. I can't see why you'd put a second rower in Whitley in there when you've got Robertson available. That'd just be insane.
Yeah, I had a moment there. Of course, Dion will. I was saying that, though. We say that. Will Dion start? I know he's in the squad. Let's not forget he was stretching off. He was in a right mess. So again, I think there's real questions over McDonald and Cross. If those two were out, I think then Whitley does go into the halves. But I think if either of those are fit, it'll be Robertson and one of those. If both are fit, then like I say, you go back to where will Harry Robertson play?
Yeah, exactly. So Paul's got some manoeuvring to do with that team this week, and obviously injuries have played a part in that. And it's going to be, critical he gets that right, because if for whatever reason Saints look disjointed, then there's enough talent in that Catalan side to take advantage of that. I think you've made the point, Garcia coming back in. I think that's huge for Catalan at 13. Yeah. Busquets is a massive miss for them in terms of their goal, especially going up against a Saints pack who, let's be fair, dominated Leigh last week. So there's battles all over the park, but I'm quite excited to see how this one pans out. And obviously Catalan have brought Matty Russell in as well, haven't they, this week? So will he get a start? I think that'd be a bit too much to go fly over to France and play week one, but you never know, he could do.
But the thing about Mate, what we know about Mate is he's, coming off his own back fence, he goes through so much work and he's a really good ball runner. So, I wouldn't be too surprised to see Matty get a debut for his 9th club in Super League. That wouldn't surprise me. And of course, just quickly going back to Saints before I ask you for your predictions, will we see Noah Stevens? Noah Stevens, number 21, in the lineup as well. So, like, plenty to keep our appetites wet here, where the Saints team is concerned. I think Catalans is a little bit more straightforward. I don't think, with the exception of Garcia, it's going to be too dissimilar to what went out against Bradford last week. But yeah, Saints, I think come 4 o'clock our time on Saturday, we will get the team sheet. And I, for one, will be very, very interested to see who is on that. Right, let's go prediction time, Steph. Who are you going in this and by how many?
I've just gone because Catalan are at home, and I think there may be some decisions for Paul to make in the Saints squad. I just fancy Catalan, but not by much. I'm going Catalan 1-8.
I'm going Saints by 12.
Oh.
And the reason for that is if they can do what look, Leigh are a far better outfit than Catalan. That people they have to concede that, and they are simple as that. And for Saints to have done in adversity what they did with Leigh and what Catalan coughed up against Bradford, for me, I think Saints will go in with a lot of confidence. They'll go same again, lads. Next man up. There might be a couple of players making their first appearance of the season, and I've just got more confidence mentally at this moment in time and historically to say Saints will take this one. Could be wrong. I'm going Saints by 12. We're disagreeing today, mate. It's good fun. It's good fun. We're keeping all sides happy, aren't we?
One of us will be right.
One of us will be right. One of us will be wrong, and we're keeping everybody. We're keeping all the fans watching, which is absolutely marvellous. But no, good luck to both sides on that. Great, and again, what a fantastic Saturday. To have that game just prior to the one in Vegas, wonderful. And speaking of other games, of course, this one's on the Beeb. This one is on the Beeb. Warrington Wolves taking on Wakefield Trinity. And as we build it up, Walker against Smith. This is a 5:30 kickoff. So unfortunately, you're going to have to make a choice here between Catalan and Warrington. But hey, nice problem to have. I mentioned that, I mean, Walker, we'll get to Walker and Smoothie in a minute. This, for me, is going to be a great game of rugby league. It really is. Last year, of course, Darryl Powell brought Warrington, brought his Wakefield team to Warrington and got a very, very good win indeed. And he absolutely enjoyed that as well. I don't mind saying. For those, in fact, actually, they were superb against Warrington all season long. They're on a really good run against Warrington. They've won the last 3. Wakefield against the wire, and last year very comfortably. They won 30-16 at the HJ and then 40 points to 10 in the reverse fixture at Wakefield. So they'll fancy this. Anyway, before we get into this, we caught up with some key players for Wakefield at the end of the Huddersfield game. Let's hear from Mike McMeeken, and then we're going to hear from owner Matt Ellis. Here we go.
So here we are, full time at Huddersfield. Mike McMeeken, Mike, that was a tough goal, wasn't it?
Yeah. Obviously, we knew it was going to be a tough game, but I think we're kind of our own worst enemy at the end. But hats off. It was a real tough game. But 2 points is what's most important today.
Yeah, George Flanagan there at the end showed what a quality player he is.
Yeah,
two tries in blink of an eye, wasn't it? Incredible.
Yeah. Like you said, he's an incredible player and he's got a bright future in this game. Unfortunately, we didn't really pick him up on that first try, but he took full advantage of it.
As a man who's played for England, George, in the future, you'd expect to don the Red Cross.
Yeah, for sure. He's going in the right direction. He's at a good team. He's learning his trade and he's playing week in, week out. And then you've got to put your name in the hat from doing that. And he's playing well, which is the main thing.
From your point of view, of course, last week you were disappointed. It was important that tonight you got a really good result. How good is that to feel now to push on for the season?
Yeah, I think it showed in that game, didn't it? I think we were a bit sketchy and a bit nervous in times. The most important thing was 2 points on the board, getting over the frustration of last week. I think we'll look back at that in video and there's still a fair bit to learn on, but like I said, I'll keep on saying the most important thing is 2 points now, and then we're going for next week. And
next week it's Warrington.
Yeah.
So I'll see you again.
Yeah, back at your stomping ground. So I'm sure you'll be giving us some grief next week. But it'll be a tough game next week. Warrington looked real sharp when I watched them last week. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Do you expect Kais to be back for next week?
You're asking the wrong person. I've not got a physio degree, but yeah, hopefully, because he's a great player and he's brings a lot of energy to us.
Well, congratulations, mate. It's always good to get your first W of the season.
Yep.
Go well,
nice
mate.
One.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers,
mate.
Cheers.
With Matt Ellis at Wakefield Trinity. Matt, that must feel great to get your first win of the season, mate.
Yeah, nervy at end. I think we're a little bit clunky today, but just relieved to get win and move on to Warrington next week.
Big game that at the wire, isn't it? I mean, obviously they've had a week off because of KR, but from your perspective, to go to Warrington with a win, you'll go in with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, I think so. I think it'd be nice not to be favourites for one weekend as well. We're favourites today. I think we're big favourites last week. Start of season, you know what I mean? I think going at wire and we won there last year. I think it'd be great for us if we can go and do it.
I asked Davil in his press conference this week, is it about respect? The fact that so many people were surprised about that result last week, does that, as much as you were disappointed, it shows how much respect Wakefield have got, that is a major shock now?
Yeah, I think last year we were probably, really tuned in all year. So, you come here today and we're not quite tuned in yet, but I think we'll get there.
And top six, obviously, is your ambition.
Yeah, 100%, mate.
100%. Well, look, mate, on behalf of everybody who watches us, Wakefield Trinity, what you brought to Super League last year and what you'll bring this year, you are making our competition better, mate, and we can't thank you enough for all the investment you put into the team, mate.
Thanks, pal.
Top man, absolute top man, Matt Ellis. And speaking of top man, Mike McMeeken. I mean, look, my dream team of last year, picking up where he left off. 2 really good knocks from Mike, and he was outstanding last year against Warrington as well. For me, Warrington need to get a handle on him down the middle and get on top of him.
Yeah, absolutely. And he took Leigh Leopards as well at the Sports Village when they had that great win over Leigh early in the season last year as well. He's a phenomenal player, rightly in the England setup. One of the best front rowers in the comp for me still. He's massively important for everything good that Wakefield do.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. We build it at the start of the show. I think, you've got to get narratives in rugby league. In fact, it's the wrong one. We'll come back to that in a minute. You've got to get narratives in rugby league. And this, for me, is the narrative. This is box office. Tyson Smoother, Danny Walker on the same field. These two, arguably, two of the top number 9s in the division, both 26 years of age. Surprisingly, in terms of top-level club appearances, Danny wipes the floor with Tyson. 181 for Danny, 49 for Tyson. Spent a lot of time, of course, in Queensland Cup. International appearances as well, 4 for Danny, none for Tyson. But Tyson has got that all-important grand final. He's got a trophy that Danny hasn't got. From a try-scoring perspective, again, in their careers, 22-3 in Danny's favour, but the win ratio in Tyson's favour, 65% win ratio, plays at 57%. And in terms of Dally M Dream Teams, Danny, of course, got picked 2 seasons back. He's got one. Tyson Smoothie hasn't. Look, both right coming up now to the prime of their careers. Steph, you've got to be as excited as me as Tyson acclimatises more and more with every game into Super League. These two on the same pitch, it's worth the entrance fee alone.
Yeah, and I think Tyson's made a really good start to Super League. It's going to take him probably 10, 12 weeks. Adrian Lamb refers to it all the time with the NRL imports coming over. Normally, they take that amount of time just to adjust to the British game because it is different from the NRL. But he's made a good start. I think there's more to come from him. Obviously, you've got to put him in that bracket of the top 9s in the comp. Just because of what he's done previously. Is he at this moment in time? I'd probably disagree a little bit. I think there's still a lot more to come from him. But there's no doubt that Danny Walker is. He's so important to Warrington. We saw last season when he wasn't there. I know they had other injuries as well. But when he came back, Wire looked a different side for me. He's hugely important for the go forward. But also the bit that people don't see, his defensive efforts are phenomenal as well. It's a key battle, definitely. And if Tyson's playing well, that gets Wakefield on the front foot, and that makes them a bit more dangerous.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think both of these two, like I say, it's worth the entrance fee alone. Really looking forward to seeing them both go toe to toe this Saturday at 5:30. The teams are out. We'll start with the Warrington Wolves, and of course, the man there, pictured Luke Yates. We featured that as part of Banging and Hanging on Weekly. Of course, he has signed an extension for 2 years. Warrington do look in decent fettle. No Matty Ashton. There were suggestions that Matty may be back for this one. It looks like they've put that down the track for maybe York the week after. But like I say, from a Sam Burgess perspective, that roster now is starting to look in really, really good shape. He'll be very pleased to be able to put that 21-man squad out. And they'll be looking to back up strongly that win against Saints.
Yeah, and they've had the week off. Probably, I'd guess they didn't want that week off really because it's so early on in the season. But it does give those players who maybe did pick up a bit of a niggle against Saints to have an extra week recovery. I'm fully expecting Warrington to look really fresh in this game. They're at home. It'd be interesting to see what crowd they get because obviously there's that bumper crowd against St Helens, and I know Wakefield are unlikely to sell as many tickets as Saints did. But one thing's for sure, the Warrington fans that came versus Saints will be 100% wanting to come to this one.
100%. And of course, the big one is that Caius Fayatilli is named in the 21-man squad. Could make his first appearance of 2025. Of course, we were blown away by Caius last year. He really was one of the star performers in Super League. If there's one bit of bad news for the Warrington Wolves, it is that Caius might be back.
Yeah, it's bad news for Warrington, but it's great news for Wakefield. I think if you look at Wakefield's performances so far, yes, McMeeken has played well, but they have missed that impact of Fatilli coming on off the bench and really bullying teams up the middle and getting them onto the front foot. So if Caius is back for Wakefield, that is a massive, massive boost for them. And they will definitely be welcoming him back, as well as being the fans' favourite. That helps just to get the fans going as well, doesn't it?
It does, and of course, big omissions. No Mason Lino, so probably Jack Sinfield will once again play his trade in the halves alongside Drake Truman. So that possibly, whereas Kais Faitili coming back might make Warrington wins. The one of their star players in 25, Mason Lino, in terms of game management and kicking, all-round threat really, will be missing for Wakefield.
Yeah, is that an injury? Do we know?
It is, yeah. So basically, it was an injury that he got the week before. Not expected to be out for too long. And of course, as well, for the eagle-eyed on there, Lachlan Walmsley is out. He picked up a knock as well. Of course, we won't go back to Joel's pet hate from round 2, but no Lachlan either. But Jaden Myers back in. Yeah. I was really impressed with Jaden last year when he got his opportunities.
Yeah, I don't think there's too much in that for me. As good as Walmsley is, I think Myers was brilliant last year. I remember seeing him versus Huddersfield when we went to that game last season, and he was. I think he scored a hat trick that day. He was phenomenal. Really impressed with Jaden, and I think he'll go really well on the wing for them.
Absolutely right. So there you go. They're the teams. They're the key ins and outs. Like I say, really good record. The Wakefield Trinity over Warrington currently. Ben Curry needs to try to get to 100 for Warrington, and Max Jowett 8 points. That's if he got them, I think Wakefield might win this one. But that would be 1,000 for his career if Max Jowett got that. Steph, your prediction?
I've been really disappointed with the way Wakefield have started, if I'm being brutally honest, and I think they will be too. And I know they got the win against Huddersfield, but they did the best to throw it away again. So the Toulouse performance was really disappointing for me. On the flip side of that, Warrington come in off a great win against Saints and a week off. I think that's going to be a massive advantage for Warrington in this one. I don't think the confidence is there yet with Wakefield. The thing that made them so dangerous last year was they just grew, didn't they, week on week on week, and they believed that they were a top 6 side, I think, last year. I don't think at this moment in time they believe they're a top 6 side with the way they're currently performing. I'm going for a convincing Warrington win here, which may surprise a few. I'm going Warrington 18 plus.
Wow, I'm going Warrington by 14. I think the thing for Warrington in this one, for me personally, low-hanging fruit, before you can get to the dizzy heights of Super League, the teams that finished 6th and 5th last season, you've got to be going, right, they're our target spot. They've got to win against Saints. Very, very good first half performance. If you can back that up with another top 6 team from last year, Warrington are already up. They're already up because they lost twice against Wakefield last year in a like-for-like basis. So I think we're going to learn a lot about Warrington. It's one thing to beat Saints opening game of the season. To go and then back it up against the Wakefield Trinity side that beat you twice convincingly last season and, of course, finished in playoffs. That will be a very, very impressive start for the Wire, and I'm going to tip them to do it. I'm going to tip them by 14. Right, let's just quickly dip into the prediction league before we move to the next game. Of course, alongside Super Brew. And Daniel Mulcahy, a Leigh Leopards fan, he leads with 15 points after round number 2. Danny Southwick, Wakey fan, he's on 14 points in second. Jensen Holder, Hull FC, 13.75 points for him. Volstag, our St Helens roving reporter, hopefully we'll get an instant reaction from Catalan from him this weekend, 13.5 in 4th. And then finally, Ed Firth, he and Matt Birch, who is also 5th on the Fantasy League as well. So he's in both at the moment in terms of the top 5s. He's Matt. He's there on 13 points. If you want to become a part of our prediction competition, of course, great prizes for the members. £250 towards your season ticket is prize 1. 2027 replica shirt is prize 2. And a Super League Raw hoodie for 2027 is prize 3. Come and join Super League Raw. Come and be a part of this league. If you play along and then you join at the end of the season, you're not eligible for the prizes. So the time is ticking here, folks. If you want to be a part of the prizes, you really need to be becoming a member within the next few weeks, or else there will be a cut-off for that, or we will be having a conversation should you end up winning. But, at the end of the day, you can't expect that in September you suddenly become a member and get 250 quid towards your season ticket. doesn't work that way, I'm afraid. Just saying, just in case anybody's thinking of being clever. But that's how you do it. So go to Super Brew, dead easy to use. Go into Super League. It's a dead simple prediction. It's dead easy to use. And then go and find the Super League Raw League. Asked to be included, and we will be delighted to include you. Right, let's go to this one. May the best Yorkshire County win. Of course, next door neighbours from a county perspective, Hull FC taking on the York Knights. Both of these two teams last week, of course, coming up short against Wigan and against Leeds. This is a fascinating game for me, Steph. Let's quickly put up the team sheet for this, and we can talk around it. And of course, injuries key for Hull FC going into this. Albeit good news, John Asiata and Zach Hardacre, the two big ones that shout out, are in the 21-man squad. If they both play, that's a massive boost of the week where they've had a lot of adversity.
100%. We all saw last year the difference Asiata made in terms of Caesar's performance. Caesar could play in a dinner suit when Asiata was there last year, so that's huge. If John comes in for this one, and Hardacre, the work he puts in is phenomenal. So two massive injury boosts for them when they have obviously lost Price, which is a big loss for them, and it's going to be interesting to see who they put at fullback for me in this one.
Well, the interesting thing is no Logan Moy or Lloyd Kemp.
Well, exactly.
So straight away, that for me sort of suggests that Hardacre will return fullback. That's what it's saying to me. And of course, let's be fair, Zach last year, no matter where you put him, he was outstanding. And of course, the other big one is at number 6. Now, whether he plays or not is another question. He's been nursing a hamstring injury, hasn't he, as Jake Arthur? But if he does return, we're going to see Caesar and Arthur for the first time on the field together, and that again will be worth tuning in for, because Arthur one will be interested to see how they go.
Oh yeah, it's Arthur's come with big raps, hasn't he? Obviously Brad's son. But I think we're all excited to see another overseas halfback in the competition. So this could be when we see him. He may play Cuss there. That's another option, isn't it, for him? He can play 6. So, they need to make sure they bring him back at the right time, though, and not rush him, a bit like what Warrington done with Matty Ashton. If he's not right yet, it's not worth the risk.
No, he's not. A couple of changes as well on the York side. Miles Harrison and David Nofaluma, of course, have joined the squad on loan, and they've replaced John Sagaga and Kieran Buchanan in this week's squad. You'll see there number 6, Ata Hingano, didn't play against Leeds. I, for one, incredibly impressed with the way he took on the KR line in round 1. I thought Liam Harris, albeit in defeat, showed signs of growing against Leeds. I thought he had a better performance against Leeds than perhaps he did against KR. And of course, coming into the new season, that was a 7 and 6 that wasn't changed from the Championship. And I said in the preview shows, I was really looking to see how they would go. I think Ngannou showed he's a Super League player in the first game. That, for me, if he is back, is a great bonus for Mark Applegarth going into this game.
Yeah, it's a huge boost if he's back in. Obviously, you always want your starting spine players to be in the side, the starting players for a reason. But Hangano put a marker down, for himself in that KR game, just to show how good he is and how good he can play. And he's going to match that now week in, week out for me. So it's going to be interesting. Coming off the back of an injury, I'm not sure what the injury was, but has that had any effect on him? But
I want to say calf. Calf. I think it was a close run thing last week against Leeds, and I think good on Mark Applegarth. I think had it have been the back end of the season, Ngannou plays. If there was something to play for. As we always say, if it's a cup final, Ngannou plays. He just gets himself out there and does it. Mark just didn't see the point in risking it so early on in the season, and I for one, applaud Mark for that.
Yeah, absolutely. This is you've got to think long term, haven't you, over a Super League season? And we've seen it time and time again where players are playing injured, and then they end up doing something even more serious, like an ACL. So you've got to give Mark credit for not panicking, because it'd be very easy to in a squad that you've got, a promoted team. But the timing's got to be right. And if he's not 100% fit, like we just said earlier with Jake Arthur, then I wouldn't risk him in this one. It's too early in the season.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Just very quickly, I forgot to mention this as well. Big raps to Warrington and Wakefield. I don't think we mentioned this on Weekly either, but they've filled 7 coaches of Wakefield. They're putting free travel on between the 2 clubs for the 2 fixtures this year. And it's this type of, incentive for me that he's really good for the game, because it guarantees a good away support. So well done to all those Wakefield Trinity fans that are already booked on the coach. Of course, other people will make their own way to the ground. We know that as well. And if you come into the game, don't forget to get to the Bluebell. We'll be in the Bluebell from 3:30 p.m. this coming Saturday, Super League Raw. Come to the Bluebell on Horsemarket Street, 10 minutes away, guys. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, or of course, if you're watching us, please come and join us at the Bluebell. It'd be great to have your company. Right. Bless me. Oh, dearie me. Hey, whoa, bit of blessing going on over here. Right, okie dokie. Edge battle. I picked this one out. I think this is a great contest on the Hull FC York game. Galeno, of course, getting 2 tries already this season, going up against Harvey Barron. 22, of course, is Harvey. 27, Galeno. Harvey 1 try, Galeno 2. Neither have assisted at the moment. Bus, very, very close. Barron 10, Galeno 7. But breaks 2-1 in Galeno's favour. Both have carried the ball a lot, 28 and 29 in Galeno's favour. But look at the meters. I mean, that's really good going, that. From Scott. I've got to give him his due. 241 metres from 29 carries from him. Barron, not so much, 128. But for me, these 2 players, I think this is a great battle. I could have gone Jones Buchanan, Lewis Martin, but I think this one for me, I think this could be very, very interesting indeed.
Yeah, Barron was fantastic, wasn't he, last season, and he's kind of continuing that on. He scored a great try the other week, but Galeno, he's gone really well for York as well. Made a great start for them. So it's getting the ball out to these guys is the key for me this week. Letting these wingers do the fancy stuff, and distribution. And this is where Ngannou is so important for York. If they take that away, then it's not likely we're going to get the ball out to the wingers. So yeah, really important that players like these get used. And obviously Martin as well, the other one for Hull FC. If you get him the ball, that's going to be huge for them in terms of securing a win against York.
Completely agree. I mean, look away now, York Knights fans. Hull FC won the last 15 meetings, but this is a different York side, let's be fair. And like I say, FC, I've got players coming back. Are they fully fit? Are they up to match fitness? That's the key element there, where Asiata, Hardacre and Arthur are concerned. Of course, they've lost some personnel. Not a bad time for York to be going to the MKM, it has to be said. It'd be very interesting to see how these 2 teams goes. Ollie Field, who I think's had a really decent start to this season, just needs 1 more appearance for 100 in his career. So good luck to Wally Field. Of course, we heard from him last week here at Super League Raw. Right, Steph, I'm going to have to push you on this one. Who wins and by how many? Not as easy as perhaps it could have been. This no. It's a tough one to call.
Yeah, it is, and there's got to be some assumptions made as well in terms of this prediction, just because of the injuries and. Particularly for FC, in terms of Asiata coming back, I think that's pivotal for them. Arthur as well, and Hardacre. So if they're all playing, I'd even go as far as say if 2 of those 3 are playing, I do see an FC victory in this one. I don't think it'll be massive. You'll see on my bet, Steph, in terms of what their handicap is for York at the moment. I'm not going to give away what I've gone for, but I do see it being a close game, this. So I'm going to go FC 1-8.
Yeah, I'm going 8 FC, but I'll tell you what, it wouldn't surprise me. That's all I'm going to say. It wouldn't surprise me, but I think, the Super League experience that FC have got, those personnel that are coming back, and I agree with you, a couple of them come back and it just changes the whole infrastructure of that side. It's going to be very interesting indeed. And on that basis, I'm going FC, but that's not to say, Mr. Applegarth, I don't think your team could get a shock. That could be the shock of the round, that one there. That for me, because Toulouse and Bradford are playing each other, this one has got that shock of the round feel to it for me. It's going to be very, very interesting indeed. Right, let's hop foot over to this. And I said in the opening remarks, as ever, an early season game meant so much. Castleford Tigers, Huddersfield Giants, stalwarts of the Super League era, are both welded to the foot of the table. They go toe-to-toe at the One Bore Stadium in a game that suddenly becomes so vitally important for both sides. Before we talk through this, let's get a word from Tom Burgess.
Burgess, Tom, frustrating obviously, but that was a proper contest, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's frustrating. Obviously, a few little things went against us in the game, but we sort of kept fighting, which is a good sign, and for the season. And we've just got to keep doing that, and we'll get more wins.
Yeah, and I mean, next week you go up against Castleford. I mean, from your perspective, there was a lot of criticism of Castleford at the weekend in terms of their middle unit and how they didn't really put up much of a fight. You've got to really take advantage of that next week, haven't you?
Yeah, we've got to get on the board. Obviously, would have liked to get the win tonight, but we'll move on swiftly because we're short turnaround this week. So we'll move on. We won't have much training, but we'll just have to get our bodies right and get ready to go on Friday. And then, we won't take them lightly, that's for sure. And
there's a positive tonight, of course, is how many people came out to watch you, which is absolutely superb. We want a big Huddersfield crowd, don't we? You've got that, now you've got to build on that and bring more people to the ground, haven't you?
Yeah, it's great to see, first home game of the season. It's great to see everyone out here, and hopefully we can just keep that rolling now, get the momentum, and keep showing the fans that we're putting in. And obviously we've been working hard in the pre-season. Now we just want to put it out, show it on the field, and thought we did that most of the part of tonight, but we just need to get a bit smarter on some things.
And from your perspective, I mean, today it looked to me like you were back to full fitness and you were punching really hard there. You must be feeling good about yourself.
Yeah, mate. I've had probably my best pre-season in a while, in a few years, so I'm feeling really good. Now it's just exciting. I just want to put it out there and keep contributing to the team every week. It's that's what we know we want to do.
Superb, mate. Well, look, we wish you well. Great. Take care.
See you through the year.
So there you go, Tom Burgess. I thought he looked good against Wakey. I've got to say, look, Lena, he looked to be making more meters. But he said it there. This game, Steph. This game. We said it on Weekly. It's a build-up job. This. I think this is going to be one that you can't afford to keep an eye off. I think it's so important to both teams.
Yeah, I think this could be the closest game of the round as well, potentially. Two teams that have made disappointing starts for different reasons. Obviously, Huddersfield's injury crisis sits again, in terms of where they're at. But so too was Castleford. Losing Taps is massive for them, isn't it?
Well, just on that, Steph, sorry to interject, but I was on right again. Apologies, not managed to get the edit right, but the members, you will get the Ryan Carr press conference on the WhatsApp coming your way very, very soon, before kickoff, certainly, so you'll be able to watch that. But he has announced that his captain, Alex Mellor, broke his leg in Toulouse, which again is just an absolute shocker. So not only have they lost Blake Taft, they've now lost their captain for an extended period.
Yeah, well, that's it's shocking, isn't it? We've seen some, real bad ones, haven't we, early doors this year, which is never good to see. And that's probably the last thing that Castleford wanted, because Mellor's such an important player for them as well. But yeah, going back to the game, it's going to be fascinating which side comes out on top for me in this one. And the even more mad thing is if Leeds beat OKR could be second bottom.
Yeah, before kickoff. That's a story, isn't it? But other absentees here as well. Semi LMA, he's out. Of course, the winger they brought in for the new season. No Lewis Senior, Kane Robb, and of course Brock Grayson has not made it this week, so that's a problem. Back in the squad though, bit of good news. Jack Ashworth, who I think was one of the. I like Jack Ashworth. I do. I think he might not be a flashy name, but he puts in a good shift down the middle, Jack. So I think he'll add a bit of punch, which was lacking at times in Toulouse. And of course, Zach Sinney, for me, was perhaps their biggest bonus of 25. I thought Zach grew into the season. He's back. He can play anywhere across the three quarters. Fletcher Rooney, would you expect him to start? Or do you think he's going to put Sinney at fullback?
Well, this is a really interesting one for me. I'd probably, I was calling last week for Fletcher Rooney to come in, and we all want to see the young lads get game time. I was a bit underwhelmed with him against Toulouse, and that's probably being a bit unfair because Castleford as a whole were a bit underwhelming, weren't they, against Toulouse? But for a game as important as this, if Cine is match ready, if he's fit and ready to go, I would probably put him at fullback.
Yeah, well, I mean, I asked, and again, spoiler alert for the press conference, but I did say that this game more than any, he's probably down to the basics, do the basics right in terms of completion rates, in terms of errors, etc. And Ryan Carr said absolutely. He said it's like that for every game, but I think in this game even more so. I mean, they're going up against two pretty even teams in some respects, albeit I do think that when you look at it, I think the Giants have slightly a stronger outfit, in my opinion, only slightly. It's fascinating. It really, really is. Right, let's just pick up where I think this could be won and lost, okay? And I'm going to go down the middle. We know the pitch. We know the pitch down there at the One Ball. It's very, very tight. So the middle units need to get on top. And when you compare and contrast Renford Tony, George Lawler to Chris Patello and George King, I put George King on there. I know that Fenton Rogers started last week. I would put King on. I think King as a starting 25, 30 minute, he puts in a shift. He's good in D. I mean, what's striking about all these front rows is how similar they are in terms of tackle bust. I mean, all bar Renford Tony's got 6. The rest have got 3, Lawler, Patello and King. Tackling wise, in and around the 50 mark with George Lawler doing 77. But tackle efficiency, Lawler's 97. The rest 96 for Patello, both 93% for King and Tony. Offloads, none for the Castleford pair, 1 apiece for the Huddersfield pair. And carries and meters very, very similar as well. I think whoever gets on top down the middle, and I'm gonna go early in and show my hand. I'm going Huddersfield by 12, and the reason I'm going Huddersfield by 12 is the supporting cast. When you actually look, you've got Tom Burgess, you've got Fenton Rogers that you're going to come off the bench for potentially for Huddersfield, taking on Jack Ashworth and Joe Westerman. And Joe, for me, is not a prop. They're going to utilise him. I mean, underneath that, you've got the likes of Brad Singleton. From the perspective of Castleford, who I'm led to believe Ryan Carr. Will he play him? Will he not? But I think, you look at that there, you've got Matiu Kozra who can come in as well. I just think Matty English, another one. So Matty English could be on the bench. And I just think because they've got a better and stronger looking middle unit on paper, on a tight pitch, the one that wins centre ground in this, I think, win the game more so because it's such a tight. You've got to suck the edges in. And that's going to be done by the middle unit and the forwards. And I just think because Huddersfield have got that, I think they've got that. I'm going to go Huddersfield by 12. What's your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, it's like I say, I think it's going to be a very close game, this one. I think Huddersfield weren't great against Wakefield, but what they did show is that, as bad as they were at points in that game, they could have very easily won it. And some great play by Flanagan to score those 2 tries, but also a couple of brain farts from him as well, which shows his inexperience. That could have easily won that game for Huddersfield and flipped that result. I think the other thing I've looked at is what was probably Huddersfield's best performance last year. It was on a really tight pitch at Dewsbury against Wigan. So I think that may help Huddersfield, as daft as it sounds, because they played a really open, wide pitch there at the Acu Stadium. But I think that may assist them, and especially players like Tom Burgess, who I think made a really decent start for them this year. He had to up his game from last year for me, and I think he has done. I worry for Cass if they don't start going into a lead in this, and the fans maybe get on the back a little bit, because there's big expectations there this year, and rightly so with the players they brought in, but also the coach as well, and Chris Chester, and there's a lot of optimism there to go 3 from 3 or be looking like being 3 from 3 losses. That's not going to go down well with the Cass faithful. So if they don't get a decent lead to start with, I can see this going Huddersfield's way, but I think it's really close and it could go either way.
Where are you going? Come on, get off that fence. Where are you going?
I'm going Huddersfield 1-8.
Right, so you're a bit tighter than me, but you do see Huddersfield. For the same reason, you just think that the middle unit will probably be...
Well, this is my point on the narrower pitch. I think it's going to benefit the Huddersfield pack, and I think they'll just probably get that little bit of a steamroll on them down the middle, and then that'll allow players like Lola here and Flanagan to really flourish in good ball position.
I think in the last 10 appearances, Castleford have only beaten Huddersfield twice.
Right.
That's a bit of a stat for you. Matty English, if he does play, 150 for Huddersfield. So good on him. Good on him if he achieves that. Right, it's a 25-minute warning for those who are watching this, because you're probably watching it if you're not on the way to Leigh against Wigan at the Brick Community Stadium. We're 25 minutes out from the Sky broadcast. We always take you close to it, don't we? We always allow you to come home from work, kick off those shoes and build up to round number 3 in style. And that is where we're going next. I said in the opening trailer, this is a game that no longer needs any build-up. Just 4 words will do. Battle of the Borough. This has become box office, even for the neutral. I think the off-field stuff, the on-field stuff, everything about this game, it has been a massive, massive bonus for Super League fans up and down the country. And of course, me mate, Mr. Sale here, has got skin in the game this evening. So let's get into it then. Let's get into it. Starting with the teams. These are they. From a Wigan perspective, Adam Kieran, I said in weekly, lucky boy, but he is still there. But they, like you, potentially have got a decision to make here in who goes in to the centre. Of course, no Jake Wardle, he's out. They put Liam Farrell in there last week, which paid off for them. I thought Liam had a decent game, but this is a different proposition in terms of what's going to be coming against Leigh. It's going to be, I think he's out of options. And we did say at the start of the season that Wigan's squad has come under a lot of focus. And already we're seeing that perhaps from a depth perspective, he's already down on his haunches.
Yeah, well, if he doesn't go with Farrell, I expect him to go with Farrell again. I think that's the safest choice for him, especially defensively. I think that's what he'll go with. The other option is maybe to put Sambu on at the wing and put Eckersley in at centre. That could happen as well. But more than likely, I think he'll go with Farrell.
And I think from an attacking sense, I mean, from a defensive sense, I mean, look, Eckersley's no slouch, we know that. And Sambu on the wing, I've seen him at reserve level when he was playing for Saints. Good player, really, really good player. And as long as Wigan, which they normally do, keep developing him, and I'm sure they will, he's a talent for the future, no doubt about it. From a Leigh perspective, if they were to put Eckersley in on the inside with Sambu on the outside, does that cause you more problems certainly from an attacking perspective? I think Wigan would look stronger. Maybe defensively that could hurt them, but from an attacking sense, I think it'd offer more.
Yeah. I mean, this is Wigan we're talking about anyway, so no matter what they do, they're going to be a threat, aren't they? It's not going to make a massive difference to that team. If you go from, take Wardle out, he's pretty much their 1 to 17, isn't it? I don't expect Forber to be in. I don't expect Kerr to be in. I don't expect Mason to be in. So it's not far off their full strength, is it? So
it's not. It's just obviously it's causing them problems that centre position without doubt. And I think before we move to your squad and maybe an inside track on your squad, perhaps maybe some announcements from you in terms of how you feel, if there's any injuries or anything that you know. It must concern you, Harry Smith, the way he controlled that game against FC. I thought it was exceptional.
Yeah, well, there's a reason why he's the England halfback, isn't it? He's a phenomenal player, and the thing with Harry as well is he knows every blade of grass at that stadium. He kicks teams to death. He's so accurate, but that's what he's seen as. But it's the other side of his play as well. It's his organisation. His defence is very good as well for a halfback who's targeted quite a lot by teams to try and tire him out. It seems to have the opposite effect. He's so fit. And it blows my mind that some people don't rate Harry Smith because he's an absolute tactical genius in terms of how to control a rugby league game. And Leigh will have the work cut out, as every team will, with him tonight.
Well, Bevan French and Jay Phil, both at the launch of the new season, paid massive tributes to Harry. He allows them the freedom to do what they do because they don't have to organise how he does it for him. And his kicking game, more often than not, in play is on point. That said, we'll come back to his conversion rate because, obviously that not as good. But Adam Kieran, had he been missing, that could have been a big swing because Harry's kicking over the last 2 years, before Kieran came in, it wasn't as good in terms of goal kicking. But Kieran's there, so that's made that by the by. Leigh, Hanley in the squad. Edwin Pape appears to be carrying a knock as well. That was documented. I think you mentioned that last week. Do you expect Hanley back, or is Pape going to play?
I don't think Hanley plays. I think it's a week too early for him. I think we'll probably see him next week v Catalan. I think that's probably the safest thing to do as well. In that respect, Edwin Pape was 100% carrying a knock against St Helens. I've got a horrible feeling that he isn't going to feature tonight. I think that injury's a bit worse than what Leigh are letting on. I think it's a bit of a bluff to name him in that squad. I don't think he's going to play. And if he does, then I do fearfully because we need everyone to be on the top game. And if he's not right, then we should start Horn and just take our medicine straight away.
Yeah, and of course, then from a covering perspective, if Horn does start at 9, you've not really got a foil there, have you? I mean, there's Gareth O'Brien, perhaps, that you could bring in as a rotating now. Is that what you'd expect?
Yeah, they've already indicated that that's a role they can see Gaz in. He played there at a hooker against North Wales in the Challenge Cup. And I know that's no disrespect to North Wales. There's a bit of a difference between them and the Wigan Warriors at the Brick. But yeah, I don't think they've got many other options. Matt Davis is the other one who's played quite a bit at 9. But I think that the key one for me this week is Isaac Liu starting at 13. I think that needs to happen. I think Trent needs to move back to 11 or 12. Yeah, in the second row. Yeah. And I think they've got to start Joffa and Mullern in the props because Joffa started at 13 last week. He's not a 13 in the memory of man. He had a decent game. He did a good job, but we really missed Isaac starting, I think, for me, and really setting that benchmark for Leigh. So yeah, there's going to be some interesting one. I can see Andrew Bradrock potentially coming in the side to replace Brand in this. I don't think Keenan had a particularly good game at centre against St Helens. I think he got found out a little bit. That's no slant on him. He's being asked to play a position that's not, he's a winger. He's not a centre. And I think they may put Andrew Bradrock in for this one, but we'll see.
Fascinating, and of course the big bonus, Frankie Holton's there as well. Let's not forget Frankie. He's back. That's gonna be good news. I mean, look, right across the pitch, this is incredible. I mean, really, really is. A couple of key ones just to point out. I think at fullback on the screen there, Jay Field, Bailey Hodgson, both in great form at the start of the new season. 2 tries, 2 assists for Field, a try, no assist for Bailey, but believe me, Bailey makes such an impact. He might not have the numbers to his name, but his impact in those areas cannot be underestimated. Both of them tackle busting for fun, 15 for Hodgson to Jai Field's 11. Both clean breaking 3 times this season already. Both having the hands on the ball, incredible. 46 times Jai Field for 346 metres, but Hodgson says, "Oh, me bear," 56 carries for 431. I think that for me, is going to be outstanding to see those 2 players on the same field. If Edwin does play, I think, you can see there 2 differing styles almost in terms of Brad O'Neill and Edwin Pape. But if it's Horn that starts this one, that probably brings it a little bit closer. And then, of course, we get into the real serious halfback battles. Now, I've actually switched this for the purposes of the graphic because for me, Lachlan Clam plays more 6 than 7, and Adam Cook plays more 7 than 6. So I'm taking the shirt numbers away here and I'm doing direct comparisons. Bevan French and Lockie Lamb, very, very close stats indeed. Albeit, as we said on Weekly, Lamb doesn't run the ball as much as Bevan, but in terms of creativity and tries, both of them 3 apiece in terms of creativity and tries this year. As for the kicking game, I mean, you can see there, I mean, tackle efficiencies, 90% from Adam Cook. I mean, we know that teams target halfbacks for defensive frailty. Adam Cook take about 90% tackle efficiency thus far in Super League this year. That is very good indeed for a halfback. 2 assists for Cook, 1 at the moment for Smith. Both have got exceptional kicking games. These for me, I think, Steph, it's in the halves where this game's won and lost. I think that's where it is. It's those battles there. Bevan French, Lachlan Lamb, arguably two contenders for Man of Steel 2026, and then the kicking games of Cook and Smith are going to be vital.
Yeah, it's pivotal to how both teams play, but I think just as important is the platform the forwards set, and this is where I think Wigan have got the edge. Both teams have got really good halfbacks who can change a game 100%. My worry for Leigh tonight is the bench. I think Wigan's bench is far superior to what Leigh can put out at the moment, especially if we haven't got Hanley and Ipape, because that's two key players for Leigh. It means that we're having to go deeper into our squad to fill what was already, a pack that there was probably one forward short with everybody fit. So my worry is that the Wigan pack get on top towards the 30-minute mark, 35-minute mark when the substitutions start to come in. People start to then get fatigue, and then that opens it up for the halfbacks, for your Bevan French and for your Jaifield and for your Harry Smith to just control the game. And I'm a bit worried this one might get away from Leigh.
Give us your prediction.
I remember what I went now.
Well, I'll tell you mine while you're looking for that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Wigan by 14. And the reason I'm giving Wigan by 14, I think Leigh, for all the reasons you said in terms of personnel, they'll be disappointed if Saints can get that win last week at the Brewdog. I think we'd all say Wigan are a stronger side, and I agree. Well, with the exception of what do they do in that one centre spot, the rest of it is pretty much plug and play. And they've started the season for me very Wigan-like. I think at the moment they just look a little bit more up to speed than Leigh are at this time. So for that reason, I'm going to go and home advantage Wigan by 14. What are you going for, mate?
Yeah, and I completely agree. I think the Wardle one is the only miss for Wigan, really. And if you put in Liam Farrell there, you're probably going down 15-20% in that specific area. So it's been
I would say slightly more because of Farrell's age, slightly more. But I get your point. He played well against FC.
Yeah, and he'll probably score 2 tries tonight because that's what Liam Farrell does, isn't it? Everyone misses it, but he scores loads of tries. So he's getting the ball there. He's going to score tries. I'm going to get a load of grief for this. I'm going to go Wigan 18 plus. I think it could get ugly for Leigh tonight.
Ooh, well, speaking of Liam Farrell, mate, if you got 2 tonight, it's 150 for Wigan. So there you go. Anyway, whilst we're thinking about that, it's time for Bet Steph. Here we go.
The bets to ignore when predicting the score. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Bet Steph.
So there you go, a new graphic this week. The bets to ignore when predicting the score. At the bottom of the screen, the accumulator for the results. Over to you, Steph.
Yeah, so as I've just indicated, the bookies have got Wigan minus 8.5. I think they're going to be more than good enough tonight to overcome that deficit. So I've gone Wigan minus 8.5. Castleford, Huddersfield, as indicated, close game expected there. The bookies are giving Huddersfield a 6.5 start. I think that's quite generous from the bookies there, given the way both teams are playing. So I've gone Huddersfield plus 6.5. York have got a 16.5 start against FC. I think it's going to be a lot closer than that, given the injuries to FC. So I've gone York on that one. Warrington Wolves minus 10.5 with the week off and the way they performed against St Helens and the way Wakefield have started. I think Warrington are more than 2 scores above Wakefield in this one, so I've took the wire. Catalans Dragons v Saints. I just feel that Catalan have got a game in them at home against St Helens. So the bookies have gone minus 4.5, which I was quite surprised at. So they will have to overcome it. But I've gone Catalan in that one. Hull KR minus 6.5 against Leeds. I take Dave's point on board about the celebrations. I just think KR are just riding a wave at the moment, and that'll get them over the line against the Rhinos. And then Bradford, Toulouse. I think this is fascinating. The bookies have given Toulouse a 6.5 star. I think that's incredibly generous given the way Toulouse have started. And I get Bradford have played well as well, but I don't know whether they think about the conditions there potentially at Bradford. But I'm backing Toulouse as plus 6.5. So if you want to have a punt on all those 7 as an accumulator, 87-1.
87-1. And then let's go to your try scores here. They come on the screen.
Yeah, so try scorers this week. Bevan French, he always scores against Leigh. I'll be amazed if he doesn't tonight. Sam Halsall, I think, is playing really, really well for the Giants. Brilliant try against Wakefield where he barged his way over against some tough opposition there from Wakefield. So I'm backing him to get one at the One More Stadium. And probably the surprise, dead easy to pick wingers, isn't it? So I've gone for a bit of a surprise one in Sam Latoni. I've been a big fan of his in his stints that he plays for the Rhinos. And I think he started quite well at FC as well. But York haven't really come up against a player like him yet, I don't think. And he's got an eye for the try line and that short distance try. So I picked Big Sam to get over and pick a forward for a change.
Fantastic. So there you go. 19.5-1 there. As we always say, the bets to ignore when predicting the score. But if you are going to bet responsibly. This is just for fun. Okay, another fantastic edition of Captain's Run. We hope you've enjoyed it, ladies and gentlemen. You're just 10 minutes away from the Sky broadcast beginning for the big Battle of the Borough at the Brick Community Stadium this evening. The Wigan Warriors taking on Leigh Leopards. What a fantastic round 3 we have got to look forward to. We get to do it all again next week for round 4 here on the Captain's Run. We hope you've enjoyed it. We hope you've enjoyed listening to it on the game. Behave yourselves, Leigh and Wigan fans. Remember, your brothers and sisters at the end of the day. Leave the battle on the field. I'm sure you will. But on behalf of myself and on behalf of Steph, thank you very much indeed for watching or listening. Enjoy your rugby league. And don't forget, you can't beat a bit of weekly on Tuesday, 8 p.m. We'll see you there. Bye for now.